Time now for the business news, and let's stay with that story of the Panama Papers. Stephen Carroll's here to talk us through those leaked documents that exposed a global industry, really, of hiding money. Now, the records, Stephen, they're all relating to a company called Mossack Fonseca. What more can you tell us about this company?
It's a law firm that's based in Panama. It was founded some 40 years ago by Jürgen Mossack, who's a German immigrant, and Ramon Fonseca, who's an award-winning novelist who's recently been working as an advisor to the Panamanian president. The company has staff in 42 countries around the world, and it's the world's fourth biggest provider of offshore services. That means creating companies for clients in tax havens. Since its foundation, it's set up more than 300,000 of them. Josh Vardy has more on this insight into a global system of hiding money.
The Panama-based law firm at the centre of the biggest information leak in history, Mossack Fonseca, administers so-called anonymous shell companies for clients which are based in offshore jurisdictions or tax havens. These places, such as the British Virgin Islands or the Bahamas or Panama, have low or non-existent transaction fees and high banking secrecy. Using offshore structures to hide money anonymously is completely legal and sometimes legitimate. However, by nature, the practice attracts those looking to hide money for more unsavoury reasons. A dictator hoping to get round international sanctions, for example, or crooks looking to launder dirty profits. To set up a shell company, an intermediary is generally sought, a trusted individual, company or bank. They will arrange with a registered agent, in this case Mossack Fonseca, to create and administer the shell for a fee. While it will have a few people named as its executives, the shell company's only purpose is to discreetly manage the money it holds. Mossack Fonseca claims it complies with anti-money laundering laws and carries out due diligence on all its clients. Clients, according to the 11.5 million document leak, which include Vladimir Putin's best friend, 12 world leaders, and around 22 individuals subject to sanctions for their support of regimes in North Korea, Syria, Russia, and Zimbabwe.
Well, Stephen, what else has Mossack Fonseca said about these leaks?
As you might imagine, they've released a pretty long statement in response to these documents. They say that their services are legal and legitimate, and adds that they routinely deny services to people who don't meet international standards. A spokesman for the company said that for 40 years, Mossack Fonseca has operated beyond reproach in their home country and in other jurisdictions. Our firm, the statement says, has never been accused or charged in connection with criminal wrongdoing. Now, one of the company's founders, Ramon Fonseca, has taken leave from his position as advisor to Panama's president. This was after the company was implicated in a scandal in Brazil.
Well, the other element in this rather complex story really is the role which is being played by major banks.
More than 500 banks used Mossack Fonseca to set up offshore companies for their clients. They include subsidiaries of Credit Suisse, HSBC, UBS and Societe Generale. Now, HSBC's affiliates alone created more than 2,300 of these offshore firms, and this is all despite a push by European, American and other authorities to create more transparency in the banking sector, to avoid the use of these sorts of offshore companies in an effort to crack down on money laundering and to regulate better the banking industry. Now, in a statement, HSBC says that the cases involved in these documents date back 20 years and predate reforms that have been taking place at the bank in this area. Just last week, it's worth pointing out, though, that a prosecutor in New York complained that HSBC hadn't done enough to prevent money laundering, despite an agreement in this area reached with American authorities back in 2012.
And we will be hearing more, of course, on this subject, given the volume of things released. But let's turn now to other news, and the IMF next, which is responding to claims that it's been pushing Greece into default.
That's right. The head of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, says the claims are nonsense. This was after a transcript of a phone call between IMF officials and the Greek government was leaked last month. In it, the officials expressed frustration at the EU's slow progress in granting debt relief to Athens, saying a crisis could provoke a deal. Greece had demanded an explanation for the comments in a letter to Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. Christine Lagarde says the IMF only negotiates in good faith and could only support a deal that enables robust growth for Greece.
And just finally, Stephen, you talk us through what's happening on the markets today.
Oh, the big focus in Europe today is on the French telecom sector, where shares are taking a bit of a battering. This is after Orange and Bouygues announced late on Friday that they were calling off talks over a buyout of Bouygues' phone business. Orange opening down 4.8% in Paris. Bouygues is down 15%. Rivals to those companies are suffering even more, though. SFR is down 23%. Iliad, which owns the rival operator Free, down some 15%. So a bit of a bloodbath on French telecoms shares. Over on the Asian markets, a much quieter day, though Shanghai and Hong Kong both closed for public holidays. We saw just slight falls on the Nikkei in Tokyo.
Stephen Carroll, the business editor for France 24. Thank you very much.